Hello everyone. In this movie, we are going to talk about how to use this function under this what if analysis, goal seek. Now, before starting with this one, let's have a look what Microsoft says about this function. It says that this goal seek is generally used whenever we are interested to find a result by adjusting an input value. And that simply means whenever there is certain value over which something else is dependent. Now by adjusting the variable, I can vary the result. Now here is one such example. If you're going to borrow some loan from a bank and then when it comes to pay the EMI, interest rate is going to be a vital, you can say, parameter. So the higher will be the interest rate, the higher will be the EMI. So in a way, I can say that the EMI is dependent upon the variable interest rate. Now, if I'm looking for a certain EMI and I want to adjust my interest rate accordingly, then in that scenario, I can use this feature. Now, for instance, let us say we have a question that what should be the annual rate of interest for an EMI of 15,000 over a period of 15 years for a loan of 15 lakh. Now, I can simply calculate this by using the rate formula. It's very simple. If you haven't seen or haven't studied this, you can see my another video, which link is given below in the description. Please check it. So let me quickly show you how you calculate that using the rate formula, and then we'll see how we can get the same result using this goal seek function. So if I'm interested to find this interest rate, I can type equal to rate and then number of period for 15 years. If I'm interested to find the EMI, then it should be 15 multiplied by 12, which is 180. So NPER is going to be 180. And payment I'm going to make of minus 15,000 because that will be deducted from my account, and present value is 15 lakh. Okay, and I'm going to leave all those three optional parameters as it is. And I'll press enter. So this is the interest rate per period, and I'm talking about interest rate annually. So I'll have to multiply that by 12 because the period is of each or 1 month. So for annual, we need to multiply this by 12. So that simply means if I can avail this loan on this interest rate for this period, my EMI is going to be exactly this much. Now, if I have given the same data here and I'm going to find the EMI using the PMT function, it should be something like this, equal to PMT rate. Let us say rate is given in this cell, and by default right now there is nothing, so let's select this first and divide that by 12 because this is the annual interest rate. This cell is representing annual interest rate and we are talking about EMI, monthly payment, so I'll have to divide that by 12, comma NPR, which is 180, and present value is this one. And I'm not going to bother about these two for now. If I wish, I can give them certain input, something like this. Right. So that simply means if I'll borrow 15 lakh money, then I'll have to make a payment of 8,333. When annual rate is nothing, that means it is 0. So blank cell basically represents 0%. Now have a look how it is going to impact. If I change this value, first let me click here, click the annual rate, go to formulas, and there is an option called trace dependent. So now click here, you can see this arrow is simply saying that this dot is representing that this value is going to change the result of this one because this depends upon this value. Now if I'll type 1 here, so when I'm going to set annual interest at 1, you can see the EMI has gone up. If I'll further make it 2, it is going further up. So let me make it 5, and you can see the interest rate will jump, sorry, the EMI will jump from 9,000 to something else. It's approximately 11,000. And if this calculation is correct, if I'll type 8.76% here, you'll exactly get 50,000. There are some rounding of errors, so don't worry about that for now. Now, you got the idea, right? That if this annual rate of interest is increasing, this is also increasing. So let us say I don't know what should be this value. In that case, what should I do? Take any value, write any value. So at this moment, I'm going to write 2%. So at 2%, the EMI should be somewhere around 9,600. Now I am capable to pay 15,000. So I'll set this value to 15,000 by varying this number, and I'm not going to do that manually or on my own. So what I can do, I can go to data, and under this forecast there is an option called what if analysis, and then we have goal seek. Now set value. The very first argument is set value. So I'm going to set the value of this one to a value of 15,000, and it should not be 15,000, it should be minus 15,000. The reason is it has to be debited, and I want to achieve this value, which is minus 15,000, in cell C7 by adjusting this value, which is annual rate of interest. So by changing this cell, this one, now this should work. So now see what will happen once I'll click OK. Okay, within few iteration we have got this. The target value we are looking for minus 15,000, and the current value in that cell has become minus 15,000, and it says that the goal seeking with cell C7 found a solution. Click OK, and if you look here, you have got exactly the same rate of interest as given here. So now you got the idea. Sometime if you are planning to run this goal seek, and if this value is not dependent upon this one, and then you try to analyze, you'll get the wrong result. So for instance, if I will not write C6 here, and I'll write 2% and just give this a value of 2%. Now this will not work because this cell is not dependent upon this one. Doesn't matter what I do here, it is not going to impact this result. So from that perspective, it is very important to make sure that the value you want to set in a cell, that should be dependent on a variable which you are going to vary through goal seek. Okay, and that is the reason why we should have C6 there. And I can see now they are connected. Okay, and one good option is, if I'll select this one, go to format and select trace precedent, and I can see this value is basically dependent upon these things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So any value, if I'll change any of these 5, this dot basically represents that this cell is going to impact this one. So if I'll change any value out of these 5, this will change. So just have a look. If I'll make it 1, enter, you can see there is a change. If I make 50,000 here, enter, you can see this is the change. But if I'll delete this C5, which is basically this one type, enter, and then I'll select trace precedence, you can see there is no dot here. So that means any change here will not impact result in this cell. Okay, so make sure before running the goal seek analysis, you have clear understanding how linking of one cell to the formula in another cell is going to impact your result. If you still have some doubt, feel free to post your question as comment, and I'll make sure I answer this as soon as I get online next time. Thank you and have a nice day.